House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business. Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Sportsbook operators are making deals all the time in this country. For the past couple of weeks, some of the most important deals have been made by Betfred. Not only did they do a deal with U.S. Integrity, but they also made a huge deal with the Denver Broncos. We're going to hear all about these important deals and all about this incredible sportsbook because our guest is going to be Bryan Bennett, Chief Operating Officer of Betfred USA Sports. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
Money always matters. If you owe thousands in back taxes to the IRS, how much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I paid less than I owe.
That's right, money matters. So call Tax Solutions Now and get the IRS off your back. Since 2014, Tax Solutions Now has been a leader in the tax resolution industry. That's why we say money matters. Remove wage garnishments, property liens, fines, and penalties. Qualify for the Fresh Start program or even uncollectible status. Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I owed the IRS over $10,000. I paid a fraction of what I owed.
Call now to reduce or even eliminate your back taxes.
We were being audited. We couldn't sleep. We called Tax Solutions Now.
I called Tax Solutions Now and got the IRS off my back. Thanks. You saved us a ton of money.
Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you? Call now and find out.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with Drizzly.com. Deals involving sportsbooks happen every week, but a couple of the biggest partnerships were just made by the sportsbook Betfred. Not only did Betfred make a deal with U.S. Integrity, but they also made a huge deal with the Denver Broncos. To tell us all about these important deals and this incredible sportsbook operator, we have the Chief Operating Officer of Betfred USA Sports, Bryan Bennett, on the line. Bryan, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
First off, congratulations of all the great stuff happening with Betfred. The deals are absolutely amazing. For people in the industry, Betfred is almost synonymous with sports betting in the UK and Europe. But for people who are just getting to know Betfred here in the United States, can you tell us a little bit about Betfred?
Yeah, absolutely. So Betfred, it's obviously not a well-known entity, here in the U.S. But we're definitely a well-established company in the UK. So first and foremost, we are actually owned by a guy named Fred. So Fred Doan and his brother Peter started the company in 1967 with one betting shop in the north of England and around Manchester. And fast forward to 2020, we have over 1,500 betting shops in the UK, a robust online business, and Fred is still our CEO, still leads the company on a daily basis, and is still actively involved. With that history behind them, Betfred was always looking at going outside of England. Entered Spain in 2019 is the first time the company did business outside of the UK, and then always had an eye on the US. And then when PASPA was repealed a couple of years ago, I think a lot of international companies in Europe and the UK obviously had their eyes kind of focused on the US, and Betfred was no different. So started kind of putting out feelers and talking to some potential partners, started doing some business development and officially entered the U.S. last year. Started the company about a year ago. I joined in November, and we've been sort of off and running since.
Now, Betfred just recently opened up a retail sportsbook in Colorado. Tell us where this is and what should sports bettors expect when they enter the Betfred sportsbook in Colorado?
Yeah, sure. So we opened our second sportsbook in Colorado. Our first one was opened in Iowa, in Grand Falls Casino up in the northwest corner of Iowa just before the Super Bowl. So that was exciting. That was our first operations in the U.S. Colorado was our second. It's a bit of a smaller book, just given the sort of the size of the casino and the size of the market that we were looking at. But what we're really trying to do when people walk in is we want to try to create as much as possible a Vegas sportsbook like experience. So, when people walk into Saratoga Casino there in Blackhawk, they're gonna get full odds boards. They're gonna get a video wall. We spent a pretty good chunk of money to create state of the art technology because we want it to be somewhere where they can come in. They can make their bets. And they can do what they need to do there. But there's also a great place to sit and watch games with a 30 screen video wall kind of facing them. So we really wanted to make it somewhere where people would feel comfortable sticking around a while, or they can come in and sort of make their bets and get back to playing slots or tables or what have you. But it was really important for us to create a comfortable retail setting for people that wanted to stick around.
It's a very interesting time for sports betting in the U.S. with U.S. sports on hiatus. At Betfred, did you see any interesting betting with regard to the non-traditional sports? Have you seen any trends that the U.S. bettors gravitated toward?
Yeah, so that's probably where we're a little bit different than I think some of the other companies in the U.S. at the moment. So I think first and foremost, we hadn't launched our online products yet.
Okay.
So we were literally about to launch online in Iowa the week of March Madness. So obviously that's the week sort of all hell broke loose with regards to the coronavirus in the U.S. So
Sure.
we pulled that launch back, and we're preparing now to relaunch that online product in Iowa over the coming weeks. Once we got our casino back open in Iowa and we were able to launch retail again, we were able to kind of relaunch our sports betting product. What we've seen so far is obviously handle is way down. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, just because of the lack of U.S. team sports. But what we have seen is intense interest in MMA.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that's by far been the biggest driver of handle in our sports book, both in Colorado and in Iowa. is on those weekend MMA fights. So kind of bummed that that there are no fights this weekend as they take a bit of a break. But looking forward to getting it back next weekend. And to a lesser extent, we've seen some increased interest on golf and NASCAR and European soccer. So once the EPL came back, that really helped as well. But for the most part, we're not going to see massive handle or the kind of handle that we want until quite frankly baseball and basketball come back later this month. So we're all obviously watching that with great interest to make sure that happens as planned.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-515-1558. 800-515-1558.
You're listening to House of Cards.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. No. 5-1. No. 10-1. You're on.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with Bryan Bennett, Chief Operating Officer of Betfred USA Sports. I want to get to this huge deal you made with the Denver Broncos. I'm going to ask all about the nitty-gritty of the details, but first, I'm always curious how such a huge deal comes about in the first place. I mean, the news here seemed to come out of nowhere. I mean, Betfred just made a deal with the Denver Broncos. Like, wow, that just blew my mind. How did the idea of this partnership even start? Who contacted who in this deal?
Man, you know what? I have to go back and so obviously Colorado is going to be an intensely competitive market.
Sure.
Probably, right up there with New Jersey in terms of just the number of online products and retail products and the big names that are coming in there. I mean, it's everyone from Betfred to FanDuel to DraftKings to Bet365, which really hasn't done a lot in the U.S. yet. So it's going to be intense. So we knew that we needed to do something to kind of rise above all that and just cut through the clutter of all those competitors. So we'd always kind of had a plan to do something in the sports sponsorship space. it's something Betfred's very comfortable with. We've done several sponsorships in the UK and in Spain, so it's sort of part of Betfred's DNA to pick a big brand and ride along with it. So I think it's even more important in the U.S. where we're not known. So that was kind of always our plan, and we talked to pretty much all the teams in Colorado. Denver's one of those markets that has representation in every major sports league in the U.S. So there are lots of different options to choose from. But it's a Broncos market through and through. So there's the Broncos in Colorado, and then I certainly don't want to disparage the other teams because there's lots of successful teams there. But in terms of fan interest, it's the Broncos, and then everyone else is a distant second. And so we talked to the Broncos early, and I honestly don't remember who reached out to who, just given it was so busy at the time. But it became clear pretty quickly that, I think we'd originally thought, okay, well, this may be a little bit outside of our weight class. But, the deal they put on the table was fair and was valuable to us, and was, what included a lot of different assets that we found very valuable. And we really, as we looked at our options, it just became clear that it was the best deal on the table. It was probably, priced higher, obviously, than some of the other ones, but we felt the value was also significantly higher. So once we sort of circled up internally and kind of weighed our different options, all of us, I think to a man, basically realized that the Broncos was the best deal to take. So we did it. We literally had several. I think there were several other companies that were in the running for the two spots that the Broncos were sort of offering. So we literally, kind of worked through the weekend, had various conference calls. I think it was around, I'm trying to remember what weekend that was, sometime in May. And we kind of came out the other end of it and signed the LOI over the weekend, and we were off and running. So I couldn't be happier. I mean, it's they're great partners. They've already are working with us on a almost daily basis to execute on the agreement. So super excited about the next 5 years. It's a multi-year agreement.
You certainly won the news cycle for that week because you were all over the place. Betfred was everywhere. What can people expect from this deal? I mean, what can the fans of Denver expect from Betfred and the deal with the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it's going to depend on, sort of what happens with fan participation this season. I honestly have no idea how that's going to net out in terms of, are fans going to be allowed in the games? Is it going to be a 20% capacity, 50%? Is it going to be 80,000 people at Empower Field? I really don't know right now, so it's really going to depend. If let's say if fans are allowed and it's kind of a normal game day experience, it's going to be Betfred everywhere. So we have a sort of a pregame betting lounge outside the stadium, really intended to be a tailgating spot. Somewhere people can come and get some drinks, get some food, play tailgating games like cornhole and things like that, and then also get a lot of exposure to Betfred. So we'll have an activation space inside that tailgating area where we basically put up a pop-up betting shop, for lack of a better word, without the actual ability to bet. Obviously, if fans want to make a bet there, they'll do it on their mobile devices. But we'll have some brand ambassadors there to hand out Betfred gear and show people how to register and activate and fund and bet and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a great game day experience. And whether or not it happens in 2020 or we have to delay that piece to 2021, I think kind of remains to be seen. I'm still hopeful we get some of it this year, but we'll just see. But then once they're in the stadium, obviously there's all the traditional signage and TV placements and scoreboard sponsorship and all sorts of things, game day programs, all sorts of that. So Betfred's going to be all over the game day experience. And then on the other side, radio and TV and digital, we have all sorts of assets there as well. So, we're the exclusive sponsor of the Broncos Country Tonight radio show. So that's a daily show that goes on there in Denver on iHeartRadio on KOA. We'll be all over that program. We also are exclusive sponsors of the Broncos Huddle, which is their weekly TV program. We'll be on that as well. And then there are dozens of other assets that we're going to be part of. So, that's a big reason why the deal was important to us, because I think it's going to be hard for any Broncos fan, whether it be casual or hardcore. It's going to be hard for them to not know who Betfred is. and that's exactly the reason we did the deal. We really wanted to ride along with the Broncos brand, and we think it gives us tons of credibility and sort of really licensed to do business with those customers in Colorado.
Well, that was my next question. What has this done for name recognition in Betfred? Like I said, you were all over the news a couple of weeks ago, and how has that affected Betfred in the United States market?
Well, I can tell you the number of LinkedIn requests from other professional sports teams has gone up dramatically since we announced that deal. We were getting, obviously as we announced different things, we were getting some interest from other pro sports teams. But once that news hit, it's orders of magnitude higher. So you could argue that's a good thing or a bad thing. But so we're getting lots of interest. I do think in the industry now, everyone knows who Betfred is, and not just in the sports betting, my peers who already knew us, but in sort of the greater U.S. sports landscape. I think the industry knows who we are, and they know we're sort of, in it for the long haul. We're going to be competitive, and we're going to be aggressive, and that's exactly the message we wanted to send, that we're here to really play. So I think that's good. Whether or not it's helped us so far in recognition amongst consumers in Colorado, I don't know. It depends. I don't know how much they read some of the news. We did have a really good piece in The Athletic, which is consumer focused. We had several news stations come out and do live shots from the sports book, because we are the only sports book open in Colorado at the moment, which we didn't really intend on. We thought others would open as well, but so far it's just us, which is great. So we've had some news stations come out and do some stuff. So I think people probably know a little more who Betfred is. But once our Broncos deal comes into place, we've also done some other radio deals outside of the Broncos. I think once those start getting executed, I think it's going to be really hard for people to not know who we are.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant, and insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day. If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation.
When I called, they asked me a few questions and matched me with a powerful lawyer who knew how to fight for me.
Call now. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident victims like you every day.
Call 800-613-4611. 800-613-4611. 800-613-4611.
Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of July 13th, 2020. The casinos in Atlantic City, New Jersey reopened at the start of the 4th of July weekend. All but one of the 9 casinos opened with 25% capacity, required face masks, and no food or drink on the gaming floor. The one casino that remained closed was the Borgata due to the fact that indoor dining was not yet allowed in the Garden State. Gaming regulators in Nevada have been hard at work enforcing the state's safety precautions in light of the coronavirus. A report filed July 1st stated that 111 violations of the state's emergency directives have been filed against gaming establishments since the opening on June 4th. The gaming board has not specified where these violations took place. And finally, how's this for luck? A man won $4 million off a scratch-off ticket 3 years after he won his first $4 million off a scratch-off. Mark Clark of South Rockwood, Michigan, bought his first winning ticket at a gas station 3 years ago. Last month, he decided to buy another scratch-off, and that's when he won his second $4 million jackpot using a coin his late father gave him. A feel-good story from the Michigan Lottery. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on Twitter at HOC Radio.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Where was the house? Where was the house of cards?
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with Bryan Bennett, Chief Operating Officer of Betfred USA Sports. Yeah, I'm curious. The Denver Broncos and the NFL, have they been embracing the sports betting industry? I know I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I remember the trial before, getting sports betting legal, and, the pro leagues weren't too keen on accepting sports betting. But it seems like they've really embraced sports betting and how it could benefit them through fan engagement. Are you seeing that more and more?
Yeah, definitely. So we've had a ton of attention from other NFL teams since announcing the deal. So I think once the NFL sort of gave teams the ability to go out and do their own sports betting partnerships, I think that really changed the landscape because obviously here in the U.S., NFL is king when it comes to sports betting and fantasy and just fan engagement and everything. The NFL is head and shoulders above everyone else. So. Once the NFL gave teams the right to do that, I think that certainly created all sorts of opportunity for everyone. So I think that was a good thing. They're still not. I wouldn't say they've embraced it as much as some of the other other leagues have, but it's a great start, and I'm guessing it'll just get stronger as we as an industry sort of demonstrate our value to the leagues and fan engagement and just demonstrate that we're here to do business the right way and that sports betting is a completely safe industry to partner with. So I think as we continue to demonstrate that, I think the bonds will just get stronger with the professional leagues.
Another deal that Betfred made over the last couple of weeks was with the company U.S. Integrity. Tell us something about that deal. What can we expect from Betfred working with U.S. Integrity?
Yeah, that one's probably a little more behind the scenes and definitely got a little more interest on the industry side. So U.S. Integrity is an integrity monitoring company that just kind of makes sure that everything is that there aren't any sort of oddities when it comes to betting behavior. It's something that's really important to make sure that again, I think it kind of goes into my previous comment about demonstrating that we're a safe industry to do business with. Making sure integrity is front and center, and making sure there's everything's done in the right way is really important to demonstrating that. So for us, U.S. Integrity was sort of by far the most the most obvious company to do business with. They have sort of the best product, and I think they have also kind of demonstrated that to state regulators. So for people that don't realize that every state sets their own regulations with regards to gaming of any kind, whether it be casino gaming or sports betting. And so each state can kind of determine who they want you to work with. If they want you to work with an integrity monitoring company. And I think U.S. Integrity is doing a fantastic job demonstrating their value to those state regulators. And I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing more and more states pushing companies to do deals with U.S. Integrity just because of the value they provide. So for us, seeing sort of that coming and talking to the guys at U.S. Integrity and seeing the value they provide us, the product they provide, it just made the most sense for us to sign a deal, long-term deal with those guys, and we'll be using U.S. Integrity. By the end of the year, we'll be using them in all of our business.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we interviewed Matthew Holt, who's the CEO of U.S. Integrity, and that company is doing amazing things in the sports betting industry. You answered my next question. As Betfred grows throughout the United States, will U.S. Integrity be involved as Betfred expands? Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, we'll see how things go with the first rollout, but we have no reason to believe that it won't be that we won't actually get the value we perceive to get. So yeah, the plan is the U.S. Integrity will be our exclusive integrity monitoring agency going forward.
And speaking of expanding, I know you just mentioned it before. I know Betfred has a mobile app planned. Can you tell us a little bit about that and when we can expect that to go live?
Yeah, so it's a state-by-state sort of roll out. Iowa will go first. We will be launching our mobile product in Iowa. It's in the coming weeks is probably the best way to say it. So definitely here in July. Colorado will launch our online product. Will launch in August. So definitely before the NFL season, well before the NFL season. And same thing with Pennsylvania is the current plan to also launch before the NFL season. That one may be early September. So the plan right now is that we would have all three of our states would have online products before the NFL season starts, and then and we'll have the retail products in Iowa and Colorado, and then the retail book in Pennsylvania at Wind Creek Bethlehem, which is a huge facility there in just north of Philly. We'll have our retail book there open in November.
Now, tell us something about the retail book you're building in Pennsylvania. What can we expect from that? I'm like I said, I'm in New Jersey, so I'm definitely going to visit it. What can I expect when I visit it?
Yeah, all of our books are going to be slightly different, and a lot of that's more of a probably a feature of every casino has slightly different space to offer us. In Iowa, we were able to take over a previous live music venue. So it's actually built perfectly for a sports book,
Wow.
A big curved wall in the front where the stage was. So we have a great video wall, and it does feel like you're walking into a book on the Strip in Las Vegas. I think I mentioned Colorado's a little smaller just because of the property. Pennsylvania is going to be a little different as well. We're taking over a former restaurant there on the property. For listeners that have ever been to Wind Creek Bethlehem, there was a restaurant there called Buddy V's. And we're going to be building out our book inside there. So it's going to be more like a sports bar, sports pub, rather than like a traditional, like big, like amphitheater style Vegas sports book. But that said, it's going to be still, really, robust book with lots of technology, 2 different video walls, betting kiosks throughout. The odds boards and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a really nice book, and it's just going to be one where you'll be able to get a burger and a beer at the same time because it's going to be a full service pub and restaurant as well.
When do you think the sports book in Pennsylvania is going to open?
It'll be in the fall. Currently in November. I mean, we got a little bit behind because of the COVID situation, and in all the other states that we were doing business in, we could still get into the casino and do construction. That's the reason we were able to open the Colorado book as soon as the casino reopened, because we were able to do all of our construction work even during the closure period. Pennsylvania was a little different. It was a full stop, full closure. Nobody was allowed into those facilities. So we got a little bit behind on that. So unfortunately, we were hoping to get it open before the football season, but it'll be in the fall now, but definitely before the end of the year.
Do you think the app in Pennsylvania will be before or after the opening of the retail book? And will the
No,
app...
it'll be before.
Okay.
We're hoping the app will be out by before football season is the plan.
Now, will the app come out in both Apple and Android, or will they stagger the opening of both those platforms?
Yeah, so in Pennsylvania, it'll be more of a mobile web product as opposed to an app. Right now, the only app product will be in Colorado. Pennsylvania, Iowa is a little bit different. It's also going to be mobile web. And then in Pennsylvania, we're actually going to be doing trading under the Wind Creek brand name. So our sports book will be inside the Wind Creek online casino. Because in Pennsylvania, obviously, full iGaming is legal. So slots, table games, all that, full casino product. So Wind Creek, I believe, is launching their casino product in the coming weeks. And then we'll be integrating our sports book inside that product.
Now, I'm a big Philadelphia sports fan, and I know you did a deal with the Denver Broncos very close to the time when you opened up your retail sports book in Colorado. Now, is it wrong for me to hope for one of my teams to do a deal with you so I can not only support Betfred, but also support my favorite team at the same time?
I'm
planting that seed now. So.
Yeah, we're talking to a lot of different people. Obviously, Pennsylvania is also one of those states where it's going to be intensely competitive. So I would say TBD at the moment. I will say the only deal we've signed is with the Broncos.
Mm-hmm. as this country is hopefully exiting a very difficult time when it comes to sports and sports betting, what plans does Betfred have in the coming year? I know Betfred's in Iowa and Colorado. You're coming soon to Pennsylvania. What can we expect next from Betfred?
Yeah, it's a good question. I appreciate the opportunity to answer it. It's we have I think the best way to describe it, we have a full pipeline. So we have done a really good job of getting the Betfred name out in the industry, and we have talked to, hundreds of different potential partners about integrating our sportsbook and opening sportsbooks in different properties. So we have a robust pipeline, and I think we will. We're going to make some waves. So I'm hopeful I can announce something in the next couple of weeks that I think will really turn some heads. It may or may not involve something in Nevada, which is obviously kind of sports betting mecca. So we're we have a lot of really interesting things coming out, and I can't wait to announce them. I think we'll be live in 4 states by the end of the year, and I think we'll double that by the end of next year.
Wow.
So we have a lot going on, and we're people may not know who Betfred is now, but they will be very aware of who we are by the end of the year.
That sounds great. Bryan, we're running out of time, but can you give a website for people to go to find out more about Betfred and to follow along with the expansion across the country?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best website to go for corporate is BetfredUSASports.com, and then BetfredSports.com will be a consumer-based site. That's where people go and can download apps and set up their online betting account in states where it's legal. But those are the 2 best places to visit Betfred here in the U.S.
Bryan Bennett, Chief Operating Officer of Betfred USA Sports. Thanks so much for coming on and telling us all about the amazing things happening with Betfred and what we can expect from Betfred in the coming year. Thanks so much for talking with us, and please come back and keep updating us on Betfred because we love the story.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate the time. Thanks for having me, and I'd be happy to come back as we make some progress and kind of give you guys an update. Really appreciate it.
Sounds great. Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
We like to think that we live in a nice, safe neighborhood. The truth is that a burglary occurs every 13 seconds, and homes without a security system have a 300% greater chance of getting broken into. How many homes in your neighborhood were robbed yesterday? You need to start protecting your home and family today. Call now to get state-of-the-art protection. To keep your family and property safe, call the number on your screen now. Representatives are standing by to assist you.
You're listening to House of Cards.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-to-1 odds. Nope. 5-to-1. Nope. 10-to-1. You're out.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. In this segment, I am joined by executive producer Doug Weishuttle for our book report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. Doug, what's up? By the way, I won some money on BorgataSports.com, and it was all because of the professional eating. I put 2 bets on one on Joey Chestnut for him to go over 73.5. And the other one for any competitor to eat 75 hot dogs, and I won both bets. But it's done by the same guy, but I won both bets, and that was the first time I ever bet on professional eating, and it was all on BorgataSports.com. So thank you, BorgataSports.com. It was you had some great things to bet on that day.
I thought it was more interesting with the women's side.
Yeah. No, I think the over-under on Borgata Sports for who was
Mickey Sudo?
Yeah, it was over-under 40.5 hot dogs, and I think she just crushed it.
Well, I remember they had it up and ready to go for the betting, and then she did the pre-match announcement that she had done 50 the day before in practice.
Yeah.
Then I think that got taken down right away.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it on the board after that. So.
No, but it was fun to watch not only the competition. This was the first time I actually watched a full competition, both men's and women's.
Yeah.
They used to have it all together years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's separated out, and it was actually fun to see exactly not only the betting options that were put out there by certain sports books. Not everyone had it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them. I know Colorado had a bunch of sports books offering, and they had a good time with it too. In terms of betting and that kind of stuff. But it was actually fun to see what happened with the. When she announced that thing that she had the practice run, and I don't think she got close to 50. She did 45, I think.
I think it was like 47. I don't even know.
But she set a record too.
Yeah,
both men and women set a record. Congratulations to both.
Yeah. That was one of those sports that was weird without the fans, because every year, Coney Island is always packed on the 4th of July, and they attract huge crowds for the hot dog eating contest, and it was really strange just to see them right in front of a brick wall or something like that. But it was a fun thing to watch.
But ESPN did a great broadcast.
And it was great. It was great. It was great to bet on it. It was great to win money on it too. So.
And speaking of money, we just had Mahomes get his huge contract.
Yeah,
so
wow, boy.
Talk about betting on yourself with that stuff.
12-year contract.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's after the first 3 years, it's all really up to Mahomes to continue doing all that stuff. There's only 3 years really guaranteed on it, and then there are escalators and extensions there's so much working parts to this contract. It's incredible.
I'm very curious to see what future quarterback contracts will look like now. I know, I guess everyone's looking at Dak Prescott now to see what happens with his contract and his.
Well, he signed his tender. He signed his tender, so he's kind of labeled right now at the $30 million mark, 31.4.
After this season, it should be interesting to see what he asks for.
If he makes it to the season, he may ask to have that ripped up now.
Who knows?
Although I don't think Dak Prescott and Mahomes are on the same level. Quite honestly, I don't think they're even.
Yeah, Mahomes won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so, and he's also 23 years old.
Yeah, but I still don't think Prescott's as good or even in that same stratosphere as Mahomes.
No.
So but I'm more curious to see what other players want to start asking for, especially the timing of their contracts, like the Jamal Adams situation with the Jets. After 3 years, he wants a new contract with a lot of money. So see how that trickles down to other players. For this week's book report. We've got more news than numbers.
All right.
So let's do the number first here. We have West Virginia reporting a total sports betting handle of $2.6 million. 98% of that was online.
Okay. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah. 46,757 and some change came from the retail books Wheeling Island and Mardi Gras Casino. Even though they're still closed, they're still losing money.
I'm assuming the bulk of that is UFC and NASCAR. I don't have the numbers. I don't know how they broke down the sports, but I'm assuming UFC and NASCAR are the lion's share of the betting.
Of the online.
The
retail stuff is still futures and all that other stuff. I know a lot of NBA bets had to get refunded and a lot of stuff like that, but some of the other futures bets that were in place before the pandemic happened probably are getting paid off in some areas here and there. Going over to some other states, we just talked about PointsBet getting the deal with the Tigers.
Yep.
And the reason they're saying they were able to get this deal with the Tigers with the individual teams is because they had done the deal with the league overall as becoming a authorized gaming operator.
Sure.
So look out for the Score to do the same, because the Score just became an authorized gaming partner of the Major League Baseball League.
Mhm.
So that means DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Fox Bet, PointsBet, and the Score are all authorized gaming partners.
All right,
with Major
so,
League Baseball. So we might start seeing individual teams doing deals with these operators.
Interesting.
Keeping an eye on all that stuff.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. I'll see you next time on House of Cards.
Drag a spotted chain across the desert plain. You build a house of cards around a lover's heart.